Hi, I'm John Townsend. Today we've got some special guests. I got Lacey Villava and Renee Mahoney. Did I get it right?
Yes, we sure did.
And we're here at Gunston Hall, and they're going to show me how to make wafers. Thanks for joining us today on 18th Century Cooking. So, Renee, Lacey, tell me about where we're at and what you do here.
This is Gunston Hall Plantation, the home of George Mason, patriot and founding father. And I'm a volunteer here. I've been volunteering probably about 7 years, and I'm in charge of the Historic Food Waste program here with the volunteers, and love cooking on the hearth, and I'm also an archaeology volunteer.
Great. And Lacey?
And I'm our education manager here, so I work with our public programs, with our school tours. I partner with Renee to manage our hearth cooking program, and then every once in a while I get to get out here in costume and hearth cook myself.
Wonderful. So tell me a little bit about today's receipt.
Today we're making a waffle recipe from Hannah Glass, the 1805 edition. And we've adapted a little bit for our use in the kitchen, but it's an old recipe. Even though it's the 1805 edition, it's a recipe that's been used for hundreds of years.
Right.
Waffles and wafers have different kinds of irons, and this is actually wafer iron we're using today, but waffles as we know them today with the deep square grooves were also used back in the 14th, 15th century, very old.
So are they a high class thing or just common people?
Definitely, when we're talking about colonial Virginia, it would be something that only the wealthiest people would have. You know, your most common families had a pot, and they might have some plates and some spoons, but there's not a lot of implements from the kitchen, and this would have been something
Pretty
that
high
only.
end. Yeah. Okay.
Plus, the ingredients we're using are expensive.
Sure. Okay, so let's get started. What do we need to make our dough for our wafers?
Well, first of all, we need butter that's fairly soft so we can mix it with our sugar. Just work with our hands or with a wooden spoon too until you get it all incorporated.
Oh, it's pretty hard.
On a super cold day like we have today, it's hard to get it all mixed in. And then once we get the butter and the sugar mixed well together, we're going to add our flavorings.
Okay.
Today we have cinnamon, which would be an imported item. So this is one thing that makes this dish particularly expensive and something upper classes would use.
And what have you got here?
This actually is rose water,
Okay.
which is unusual flavoring for us today, but it was a very common flavoring.
Oh, it
And
smells
you've got quite a bit
beautiful.
here. Is this
Yeah,
like
I'm going to use about 2 teaspoons probably
Okay.
for this adapted receipt.
In my experience, it tends to be something that we would see in sweeter receipts that today we would put vanilla into.
After we get that all incorporated, then we're going to add our eggs. 3
Okay.
eggs to this particular recipe. And then we go ahead and add our flour and mix that all in.
How much flour do you
This
put
is
in?
about 2.5 cups. Actually, having a cold day today is great for the wafers because we want them to be kind of firm balls when we cook them.
We're really just shooting for consistency, right?
That's true. We're just looking to get a nice firm dough that we can put in a ball. And on a day that's cold like today, we're not going to need quite as much flour as we might on a humid, hot day where the butter's really soft.
Right.
So this we should be.
Yeah, Renee and I had a really great experience making the dough back in October. We had 2 very different batches.
Yes.
One was very soft and one was very hard.
Yeah, there's no hard fast rule. It's all about consistency, how it
Okay.
feels to you that day. In a modern kitchen, you would put it in the refrigerator for about an hour just to get it nice and firm. Today, it's outside. It's very cold. We could set it aside for a little bit because you can't cook this wet dough in this particular wafer iron.
Okay, so it really needs to set.
It really needs to set up a little bit to
Okay.
harden a bit. So here's the dough we made earlier and set aside. So it'd be nice and chilled so we can make our balls of dough. And maybe I can get you to roll
Okay,
the dough
okay.
for me.
Okay.
As many as you want to get. Good size, a little bit bigger than a walnut, not quite as big as a golf ball.
Okay.
Be about the right size. So here is our wafer iron that we've had heating in the hearth for about 10 minutes. For today, we're going to add shortening. In the 18th century, of course, they would have used probably lard to grease it.
Great.
So here we go. Let me move this out of the way. We press it. And with practice, you learn when it's done. It's pretty much you're listening for the sound and you're smelling it, making sure it's not getting burnt smell, and then you kind of know it's done. It's just really...
Because this is constantly getting cooler, you have to always be adjusting your system, basically.
Yes, definitely. The timing, and eventually you realize, okay, I can't get any more out of here. But those 2 are really quite beautiful and perfectly, in my opinion, cooked.
So these look perfect. They turned out
They
really
did.
well.
Yeah, they look great.
So
Takes practice.
I think we should try them out.
Yeah,
They probably would have had other things on them in the time period.
absolutely. We sprinkled the one with sugar, obviously, but they could have been filled with cream, with fruit, with a variety of other things. You can still smell the rose water in them.
Yeah, but it's not overpowering
No.
at all. Sometimes rose water, when it's in it, it can smell like soap or something. But this is just a little hint of that. Gives it a nice aroma here in the wood smoky kitchen. Wonderful flavor. I can imagine this being used in all kinds of ways.
Would have set an elegant table, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yes, beautiful and tasty. Amazing. So, I want to thank you both for
Thank you.
showing and demonstrating, giving us this receipt. It's an amazing thing. I'm hoping everyone has a waffle or a wafer iron at home so they can try this.
It's a lot of fun.
And coming here to Gunston Hall, if you get a chance, you can come here. Maybe they can watch you make wafers here. Also, tell me a little bit about the cooking programs you do here.
Right, so we have a variety of cooking programs. Renee here is a volunteer for our hearth cooking program, but we also do hearth cooking classes twice a year. So in March and October, our next ones are coming up really shortly.
Great.
And we have a small cadre of participants who get to learn what it's like to cook in an 18th century kitchen.
So that's coming up in March. How can people get a hold of you if they want to participate?
We've got a link right on our website.
Okay.
So I'm sure you'll put a link on
Right,
the
we'll
video.
put a link in the description so that you can go to their website and check that out. Thank you so much for bringing this to us and showing us how this all works out. I'm excited. I want to start making some waffle irons.
Amaze your friends.
Thank you so much for coming along with us as we're experimenting, we're trying these things out, we're smelling, we're tasting, we're savoring the flavors and the aromas of the 18th century. I want to thank everyone there at Gunston Hall for their wonderful help with this series. If you're interested in Gunston Hall, make sure to check out their website.